Okay, family. Today is the 20th of January 2026. I am here to give you the today in history. Just like I started yesterday, it is a continuation of what I was doing before the AFCON. And now the AFCON is over. I am going back to my roots. Yeah, and my roots are the today in history. Today I'm talking about um, Senegal and Ghana. Senegal 92. Senegal 92, Ghana happened to be there. And I'm talking about Ghana and a certain team called Congo Brazzaville. If you remember, Congo Brazzaville won the 1972 AFCON. And after the 1972 AFCON, they came again in 1974. The Egypt 1974, they came. But at the semi-finals, they lost to Zambia 4-2. So they couldn't make it to the finals. And in 1976, they couldn't qualify to the AFCON. 1978, they came, but they never won a match. They lost 3-1 to Uganda, 1-0 to Morocco, and then they drew 0-0 with Tunisia. So, like, before and during the 92 AFCON, they drew their first two games. Remember, the 94 AFCON was the first AFCON to have a quarterfinals. Yeah. And apart from that, there were 12 teams instead of 8 teams. There were 12 teams of 3 teams in each group. So their group, they were with Ivory Coast, whom they drew 1-1. And then there was Algeria. They also drew with Algeria. They drew Algeria 1-1 and 0-0 with Ivory Coast. So they qualified to the quarterfinals, just like Ghana had qualified to the quarterfinals. Ghana beat Egypt 1-0, and then they beat what was the other team? DR Congo, I think so. They beat them 1-0. So they made it to the quarterfinals, and at the quarterfinals, Ghana beat Congo Brazzaville 2-1. I remember it was Tony Yeboah who scored the first goal for Ghana in the 29th minute. Odate was dribbling, and then he was fouled at the edge of the penalty box, and the referee didn't whistle. So Tony Yeboah just smacked the ball, and then it was in the back of net. Yeah, and then Congo DR equalized. Yeah, they equalized for the game to be 1-1 through Pierre Chibota. Yeah, I think Pierre Chibota, he scored a goal for Congo DR. And Abedi Pele scored a winning goal for Ghana Black Stars. Yeah, so the game ended 2-1. And Congo Brazzaville went home, yeah, on that day. For Ghana Black Stars, the lineup, I remember we had Eddie Ansan, Kwesi Appiah, Emmanuel Ampere, Frimpong Manson. We had Tony Bafo, I think. Yeah, Tony Bafo played in that game. Stanley Abora also played in that game. Yeah, Odate Lamte, Prince Poku Poli was substituted for Ahise Kasari. Yeah, and Abedi Pele played in that game. Ali Ibrahim also played in that game. Ali Ibrahim was substituted for Safo Jamfi, the black president. Yeah, and Tony Bafo. Tony Yeboah. Yeah, Tony Yeboah also was part of that game. Yeah, so that was what happened in 1992. The next one I'll be talking about is a game in 1998. Ghana played a friendly match with Mozambique, and it happened on January 20th, 1998. There was a player called Tiku Tiku. He scored the long goal for Mozambique. They lost 3-1 to Ghana. Sike Akono scored that first goal for... No, Mohamed Gago scored the first goal for Ghana. I think it was in 64th minute, yeah. And the second goal was scored by Emmanuel Sekofo. Yeah, remember Emmanuel Sekofo is different from Samuel Sekofo Yabeko. Samuel Sekofo, the under name is Yabeko. and he's the nephew to the Ghana's former president Kufuor. I will talk about him some other time when I get information concerning Samuel Kufuor, but I'll put it aside. He's different from Emmanuel Kufuor. Emmanuel Kufuor was the midfielder, attacking midfielder who played for Dwarfs and he played for Dwarfs and the House of Folk and Asante Kotoko. Yeah. He scored the second goal for Ghana, and then Siki Akono also got the third goal for Ghana. Yeah, Gagu scored the first goal. Emmanuel Kufuor scored the second goal, and the third goal was scored by Siki Akono. Tico got one for Mozambique. I think on that day, Simon Addo was imposed for the Black Stars of Ghana. And then we had President Usu Ansa, Daniel Dusey, Gago Mohammed, Sike Akono, Emmanuel Kufuor, Foster Basios, Alex Nyako, Richard Ekon, and Peter Fulkwi. I hope you remember Peter Fulkwi. He also played that game. And then Emmanuel Tete, yeah. That was the players that started for the Black Stars of Ghana, which beat Mozambique 3-1 in a friendly match at Accra Sports Stadium. Yep. 2008, we had a game on the January 1st, January 20th, 2008. Boy, January 20th, 2008. That is some 18 years ago. It's not long ago. Just like it looks like yesterday. January 20th, 2008. Ghana, if you remember the 2008 AFCON, Ghana hosted that AFCON. And if you remember that well as well, the South Africa also submitted a bid to host the AFCON in 2008. But South Africa's bid was later withdrawn because they were supposed to host the 2010 World Cup, and that was more important than the AFCON. So they withdrew their bid. And then there was Libya. Libya also wanted to host the AFCON. Remember, in the year 1982, they hosted the AFCON. If you remember, 1982 was the last time Ghana won the AFCON, and they won it at the hands of Libya. Libya made it to the finals. Ghana made it to the finals. And then, the rest is history. So they wanted to host the 2008 AFCON, but because Egypt had hosted the 2006 AFCON and Tunisia has also hosted the 2004 AFCON, it was virtually impossible to give the third AFCON to another North African team. So their bid was withdrawn, and then Ghana was taken to host the 2008 AFCON. And during the 2008 AFCON, during the opening match, that is when Ghana played Guinea on the 20th of January 2008. At the end of the day, Ghana beat Guinea 2-1. It was Asamoah who scored the first goal through a penalty on the 55th minute, and then Umar Kalabani got the second goal, the equalizer for Guinea to make it 2-2, 1-1. Sorry, at the 65th minute. Yeah, at the 65th minute. That is when he made it 1-1. We thought the game was over. Ghana thought the game was over. Guinea thought the game was over. They have gotten the draw. That is when Sule Muntari scored a beautiful goal for Ghana to make it 2-1 at the 90th minute. So Ghana came home. Ghana was home already with 2-1 win. On that day, if I remember, Richard Kingston was imposed for the Stars. Eric Addo, John Pencil, John Mensah, Hansadu Sape, Lai Kingston also played in that game for the Stars. Sule Muntari, yeah, he also played in that game. Michael Essien, the Bison, he also played in that game. Also Beyi, John Junior Gogo also played in that game. for the Black Stars of Ghana. Yeah, yeah, that was the lineup for Black Stars. For Guinea, it was, if I remember, Guinea, their goalkeeper was Kamoko. Yeah, Kamara Kamoko. And they had this player, Konfaski. And they had Board also played. And they have Kalabani. He scored the goal for Guinea. They had Alessane Kamara. Alessane Kamara. Yeah. And Sako. Jabi. No, Sako Jabi. And then Ishmael Bangura. Yeah, Ishmael Bangura. He also played in that game for Guinea. So that's what it is. It happened in 2008 AFCON. Ghana beat Guinea by 2-1. The fourth on my list is January 20th, 2013. That is some 13 years ago. That is not long. 13 years ago is just a few days ago. Yeah. Ghana drew 2-2 with DR Congo in South Africa, AFCON. Yeah, 2013, South Africa hosted that AFCON, and Ghana drew 2-2 with DR Congo. Ghana was leading 2-0 by the 49th minute. Ghana was 2-0 up. Adbabadu scored the first goal for the Ghana in the 40th minute, and then 5 minutes after restart, Kojo Asamoah got the second goal for Ghana Black Stars. So it was a 2-0 lead, and then Tresor Mabim Potu, he got the Congolese back in the game. He made it 2-1, and then at the 69th minute, Mbokani, he scored a penalty for DR Congo to take the game to make it 2-2. Yeah, so that's what it is. That happened in 2013 on January 20th. That's what it is. I will leave you here, and tomorrow I'll continue with my Today in History. The name again is Richard Ako. You can find me on YouTube under Richard Ako or Ammonia 84. Yeah, Ammonia is AMONIA 84 or Richard Ako. Yeah, see you again. Bye.